Welcome back to another Designers Discuss. My name is George Brooks and I'm one of the founders here at Crema.
I am Sean Connolly and I am a product designer.
I don't think I ever say your last name right.
Connolly.
I think I'm like,
Conley?
I'm like, Conley.
That's the original spelling.
Oh, really?
Yeah, okay, cool.
Designers Discuss.
We are covering today a few of the relatively advanced features of Sketch. Things that make us move faster, make Sketch a more powerful tool. If you haven't already, check out our intro to Sketch if you just want the basics to how to use Sketch in the normal tools. We're not gonna cover that here. Go watch that video there.
And then come back.
And then come back. It'll be great. It'll be a good afternoon. Just grab a glass of wine.
This video is not like hours long, by the way.
No, it's not true. So the three things that we want to cover just in general topic here is symbols, which is a really powerful tool that we use a lot. And then we're going to go into libraries, which allow you to pull in, we'll talk about it in a second, libraries. And then plugins in general. So the power of extending Sketch with plugins. Why don't you kick us off talking about symbols?
Yeah. So I can dive into symbols here. This is a mock-up from our previous video where I have this whole list item is grouped together. So we have the checkbox, the time, the text, and then the assignees. Those are all, I should probably label those, but
It's fine.
assume I have.
We were moving fast.
We're moving fast. So I have this all grouped together, and the beautiful thing about symbols is that you can create them on the fly. So if you're realizing, oh man, I've been using this list item quite a lot, you can go ahead and delete those if they're not too different and right-click on it. And you can turn it into a symbol right here. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on that. So I've right-clicked.
I never do the right-click. That's interesting. I just select it and then I click.
Here, let's find out.
Select the group. No, just.
We want to see where it is.
Is it not up? Oh, it's right there.
Oh,
Great symbol.
cool. Cool. So
that's one of the only buttons I use in the toolbar, actually.
Dude, now you can right-click.
Okay, it's good to know.
So you can right-click on it
that.
or go into Layer and hit Create Symbol. So that's going to give you the option to name it.
Yep.
But
which does become important when you have a huge library of symbols. That
Yeah.
becomes a big deal.
And we can show a bit about how. So I'm going to call this list item default.
Okay.
Okay. Or I could call it unchecked or whatever. So it also said, there was a checkbox on that previous screen that said send to symbols page. So now it created this symbols page and it looks different, you'll see, because there are, the symbol itself is on this artboard. So I've pulled the shape away. This is the artboard. So it creates an artboard and this has this purple title. So that's how you know it's a symbol effectively.
Look for the purple if you want to know that it's a symbol, because it is hard to tell otherwise.
Yeah. So now that it's added to this page, it's going to live here. I can duplicate this just like an artboard, just like any other thing. You can click into it. And so I'm going to say this one, I'm going to relabel it to...
Like selected?
Yeah. And then I'm just going to draw a really crappy... This is where I could pull in a symbol there. But I'm not. I'm just going to draw a really crappy checkbox.
That's a great checkbox.
Dude, thank you.
Yeah. Crema, we get along really well.
So I just want to show the difference between these two. And maybe this changes color, right?
Yep.
Maybe it goes...
That's what I thought you were going to do in the first place. That's
Boom! Great. So beautiful. All right, it's checked. So we're going to return to that prototype. So this now is a symbol.
Yep.
And I'm not going to copy this. I'm just going to show this real quickly because you go up to insert. This is actually one of the times I do this because I don't know how to insert a symbol otherwise. There's no shortcut. But I go to my document symbols. These are other libraries I have, but I'm not going to show those just yet.
That's my fault. My thing.
But so document is the symbols I've created.
I never use this. How do I do this? I don't do it that way.
I'm curious.
Keep going.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to look.
So list item. So that was, if you saw here, I'll go back to the symbols page. If you see here, they both have this default title list item, and I've done that /. That allows you to have these sort of branching parent-child relationships. So the top level is list item, and within there I have those two different versions. So I want to add this to the screen, and so that kind of snaps it. I want that 24 pixels, so I can go ahead and copy this down. And so from here...
So really, symbols, this symbols is almost, we'll get into libraries here in a second, but it's almost like your own internal library of assets to reuse and make changes across the board.
And I've never made, personally, a library to then share out.
That's basically the exact same thing.
Cool. And so the thing I can do here, so because these, again, have that sort of parent of the list item,
Yep.
I can go over here to the side and actually switch out those symbols. So if I want to illustrate how one is
it's
checked,
such a powerful feature.
you click on that and it's switched it. So what you'll
right.
see here on the side, it still maintains that name list item default. So if that's confusing to you, you can kind of go ahead and change that.
You can change the instance name. So this would be the instance of that symbol.
Yeah, and that's not going to affect. So if I wanted to name this like
It's helpful if you're renaming things.
and if I went back to the symbols, nothing changes here.
Do you, you might touch on as well when you click
The
into
overrides.
the symbols. Well, yeah, your overrides are, that's a super powerful feature when they added that. It was a
Yeah.
big deal.
Yeah, and so the beauty of the symbol is that,
It sees the data. It sees the aspects of what's inside the symbol.
and without changing the entire symbol on the symbols page, you can click into one here and simply say, like, we want this to be chronological, so I'll say this is noon or something.
Yeah, so in your inspector, you're able to see that that particular text is editable.
Yeah, so when I click into that shape, I can choose the time, and by default, it just remains as pick up kids, and this is like leave work. I'm dipping out at noon today. So
Are you now?
yeah. So the cool thing about that is this is one instance of that symbol. Again, if I go back to the page, nothing here has changed.
Yep.
So I can duplicate this down the page. What's really powerful though is like suddenly, oh wait, I decide, well, all of these list items are really going to have a purple background. And so I choose that and I choose like a purple color. Now when I go back to the prototype,
Boom.
all of them have changed. And
That's
so
a big
that's,
deal. And it speeds it up so much.
yeah, so I think those are the biggest pieces of that. Like when you create this parent and this like hierarchical setup, you can then click into a symbol and then choose from that list, which is really powerful. I guess I would say the benefit of symbols is that replication. So it's things that you know will be repeated throughout your prototype.
Yeah.
Now it is
Navigations, lists,
like
cards, those types of things. Yeah.
Totally.
Headers.
It is sometimes difficult if you're starting from scratch. I don't find myself making symbols right off the bat.
Yeah, totally. It's a cleanup item, cleanup structure, like maybe 10% into the project or 20% into the project, and then it helps me to finish the other 80%.
Yeah, because right away, like things change so frequently that I think you'll find yourself going back, changing the symbol a lot more than it's really intended. It's meant to be these variations of a single
I agree with
object.
that. Yep.
So to nest, let's see. How could I make one of these a symbol? Like what would change? Okay, so this is cool too. So even within the symbols page, you can go ahead and make an object a symbol as well. So like I'm already in the symbols page, so that's going to go ahead and make a symbol within this page.
Yeah, so it creates it as its own little like mini artboard off to the side of it. Yep.
And so here's the cool thing, and you can, so I say this is assigned, I want to show like an instance of assigning to one person. I just remove those, and right away it's gone.
Yeah. And you could create a bunch of versions of those. So we've gotten pretty robust in that.
That's true.
You create a bunch of different versions, and then in your selector, you can choose from the nested symbols to create variants in your all your items. Otherwise, it's like, oh, well, everything looks exactly the same.
And so I'll kind of show what that looks like. So I have assignees 1, and I'll do assignees 2. How about that?
Perfect.
So this way we can say, we can try to illustrate in the document if only one person is assigned to a task.
Yep.
So within here, we see that this default symbol, you can still, again, see the selected state.
Yep.
But let's just undo that.
And that would be jumping to the other kind of symbol, which didn't have the nested one in it.
It didn't.
That's okay. It's
Yeah,
okay.
it's
You
because
could
I knew that
have,
before,
but you didn't. So just to, we know that this guy here, put your cursor on that, this guy here doesn't have a nested symbol in it. It's just the original flat version.
Yeah, because I made that a symbol before I changed the assignees section. Yeah.
You can get deep.
Yeah. So here, I'll click into this, and so now you see assignees is another symbol nested within that larger symbol, and I can then go to, well, I really just want to show one person's assigned.
So powerful.
Or 1 and 2 people are assigned to this one. So that's where it becomes powerful, and I think we can do actually pretty quickly. I can just in this file here, I can select that and just say insert symbol, and we're going to put the assignees in here. That way we can change it. So if we want it lined up, that's 32 and 24. So I'll just grab that now.
So you're using your guides real quickly to kind of make sure it matched where it was at before.
Oh, that's insanely powerful. We should have.
That's okay.
So
it's good. It's
actually,
just a quick reference. It's okay.
Well, we didn't mention it in the previous video, and I think it is a really powerful tool. Is this redlining? So I'm holding down Option, and it shows you So this is
how close it is to its edges of anything else.
So what's cool is that this is both the dimensions, so 24 pixels, height, bottom, 32 from the side. That's both the artboard and in the larger object container.
Yep.
Just because they're sitting in the same place. Now if I drag this down,
you can see that it would have it separate.
If I drag that down, whoops, I can then select that object.
And do it to the object versus the artboard.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so if I see like the artboard here, yeah,
cool.
It's 24. So redlining is really powerful. Anyway, I've now switched that assignee inside here, so then I can do that single assignee. So
cool.
Again, that was actually a good illustration about how things can change within a symbol that you will have to retrofit.
A super powerful feature. If you aren't using symbols inside of Sketch, you should, because it speeds up the entire process. So honestly, libraries are just an extension of that.
They're like pre-made symbols?
Yeah, or you can make your own library. So library is basically just a pack of symbols that's referenced from another document. So instead of having the page that is your symbols, it's actually going to reference all of the symbols inside of another document. So I'm looking here just at an empty, let me go ahead and throw an artboard out there. And if you go to Sketch and you go to Preferences, here inside of Preferences you can see libraries. I have added many libraries before, but I kind of tend to uncheck them because it does slow down Sketch a little bit, I've found. So right now I only have this one called Humans. You can add a library, and pretty much any Sketch file can be added as a library. As long as it has symbols in it. I think it has to be a symbol, but as long as it has symbols in it, you can add it. So Humans is a really Humans, I don't know how you do it.
I don't know.
Okay.
Is there a video that says it?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. This was made by, I don't know who it was made by. Do you know the original creator? Somebody online, they gave out this open source pack of people, little illustrations of people that can be kind of mixed and matched to create really neat things.
Pablo Stanley.
Pablo, thank you. It's awesome. We've used it on a couple different things, at least for concepting out ideas.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
The ones that I use the most are probably like, I have a material design icon symbol library, which is just a quick way to grab at icons. So here we can see that we just have the blank canvas, and I'm going to go ahead and insert. It's basically the same thing. You did it from up here. It's funny you use the header. I don't use the header as much. I use this little guy here. Does the exact same thing.
Oh, I don't even...
I like that you can see here are the symbol libraries that I have available to me. Only those two were checked off. If I had created my own symbols, you'd see the document, but I don't have any. So human, and then I'm going ahead and just insert one of those symbols. Almost exactly what you just did. And then you can see here on the right, some of these symbols are pretty complicated. Like they've made really nice nested symbol libraries, so I can change the color.
And all these are overrides.
Yeah.
So if you were to click, actually this is cool too, you can show there's a shortcut to get back to the original document. It's like double click into the symbol, which I think is really nice.
So if you do double click on this because like you're thinking I want to change something structurally, it's going to say, do you want to open this? Or you can actually say, forget it, I want to create my own instance of this, and I'm just going to break the ties to that original source and make my own version. But we can say open an original document. I already had it open, but it jumped right to that symbol inside of that document, which is really powerful.
Because again, this is not the symbols page in your working document. It's referencing an entirely different sketch file.
And you can see here, they went crazy with their symbol library. So this is just a really robust group of symbols that can be mixed and matched to create these characters. So it's almost exactly the same thing as you demoed, so I'm not going to go through that too much, but you can change out the shades, so I made that kind of weirdly
opaque. It's like his hair, or translucent. Yeah, weirdly his hair is like,
I don't know how I did that actually.
Transparent.
This is one thing that like, so hair, why out of all the things I choose to change there, I feel like that should have made it solid.
Weird. It's like the settings like,
I don't know. I feel like that should be the solid.
All right, scroll down. Oh, wait, no, what's at the very top
It's
of
a
this
bad
list?
example because it's not doing great.
Well, it went wrong at some point.
Here, let's just select a different one. So this is a perfect example of, it's a design software, right? You can't do everything. It's not code in that sense. So there's some limitations. You kind of have to work within the constraints.
Well, and that's actually, it kind of illustrates that when you do nest symbols that deeply. Like they're insanely robust, but like if you make one mistake, you kind of don't know where that came from. So they can get really dense in that way.
So a good example of that, I actually downloaded the material UI library from Google. Oh, it made me so mad. It was the way they did their symbols was so infuriating and kind of forceful that I didn't like that library. And so you'll find that some libraries are better than others. But
one other thing maybe I can talk about with these is like if you open up the original file, I don't know if you want to do this, but like if you change one of those default symbols, then it shows you, right, like this 2 notifications, you'll have a notification that says,
yeah, this right now is just saying that I need to install some plugins, but let's say we change this color to
like let's do like a crazy like color that would never be, so you can tell the difference.
Pink. You got some big old red hands.
Little lobster hands.
And so you can see that that's happening here. It's only on this one object. It's on the rest of them.
So
we
you have to save this?
So yeah, when you save this document and go back,
maybe we'll say time is passed.
Library updates available. So you can see it's going to show you the difference. You don't have to sync that, so you might go, oh, I didn't mean to do that. But when I update that component, now it changes it here.
Yeah.
But that'll happen across all the symbols in your document that are using that source.
Yeah.
So I think library is a really powerful tool. I'm using, like I said, I use it more for if I need to grab an icon from like, a little cloud icon or something. And it scales because it's all vector, right? But you can change certain components on it.
Like I could have done that with my checklist. Like I have these material
so you made your own
icons,
checkbook, but you could have grabbed one from a library. So that is libraries, another really powerful tool and kind of an extension on symbols.
Yeah.
Last but not least,
just plugins.
Just plugins in general. I don't think we'll jump into too many. You actually probably have more installed than I do because you're using it on a daily basis. There are a ton of plugins that you can install into Sketch. They built it in a way that you can write your own plugins. And so some of the ones that we use quite a bit are InVision, which we're going to talk about here in a second, but InVision's Craft, which allows you to sync your InVision files with your prototype in InVision, which is a prototyping tool. And then some others, I use Runner. So Runner it's one of my favorite actually. Runner's a really fast way to actually grab symbols. So if you want to grab symbols or you want to jump to something in your doc, you can say like, oh, I need a cloud icon. And then it can immediately like go, oh, there's that cloud. Yeah, that's that one. And you can grab it and throw it in.
Okay, I actually need that.
You can go to like, oh, well, I need to jump to the desktop HD, and you can jump to anywhere in your file like instantly. So it's like Spotlight, but inside of Sketch. And it uses command comma or parentheses. And you can jump to. I pretty much only use it to insert things. That's why, you remember I was saying earlier, I was like, oh, I don't use any of the insert options. It's because I use this plugin to do it.
Oh my gosh, I need that so much because like, dude, did you see how extensive this, so you must never see this.
No, I don't.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Look at all these, like,
I know.
How do I know?
But instead you can just search. So Runner's a really good one.
Runner, come on. I need it.
It's great. It's free. Go get it.
All right. I'm going to do it right now.
So the Craft Unsplash is really great for grabbing images, but Craft kind of has some of that built in.
Yeah. And I kind of showed that in the last, well, no, I didn't. We cut that out.
Well, you started to, and then we cut it out because it was supposed to be in this video.
But yeah, you can create a shape, which then if you click into it, you can click into this Craft Manager over here. So this whole bar is actually
it's an addition to the experience. Yeah.
Craft, so I can turn that off and that bar goes away. So I'll show that just coming back on. So this part here.
By the way, that plugin has to be updated approximately twice a day.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. So I use this piece of Craft, which is Sync, which takes all these artboards and then puts them into InVision, which allows you to prototype.
Yep.
But anyway, they also have this image tool that grabs from, what is it, iStock?
A bunch of different places, I think.
So you can just kind of Google, or
oh, they have a lot more options. I haven't used this in a while.
So you can search for like specific pictures. And so now it instantly masks it because I chose. So I drew a shape.
Yeah, you chose the object you wanted it put in.
And it's selected, so I choose a shape and it masks
it. It makes your UI real so much faster.
Yeah.
It's great.
So you can blow those up. Yeah, so that is all within just this craft. And it's funny because like I know there are a lot of powerful plugins out there.
I know.
And actually Aubrey has tossed out a bunch. And
So some of our other designers use plugins.
they're better. They're better than me.
They should be on this video instead
Why
of you.
am I here?
I don't know.
Scheduling. They're too busy doing
They're
real
actually
work.
billing hours. So there are so many more plugins that you can definitely check out. Go to, and I'm going to forget the name of it.
There's a place too just to do it right within Sketch.
Oh yeah, they have their own.
So you go to plugins and just hit manage plugins. There might be a quicker way to do it. And then here there's a
get plugins.
way to get
great.
plugins.
So they've got a whole part of the website, the Sketch website, that is you're doing it right now.
I thought I
You're doing
had
it
this.
It's good. And then you can install it, and then there's just an install. It's pretty straightforward. It's an install process. So you just have to run that plugin.
It works like this.
And say OK, and then it'll be in your Sketch. So the 3 things we covered today: symbols, libraries, and plugins. There's so much more to Sketch that you can dive into, and I'm sure that we haven't even scratched the surface of what it actually can do, but it's the things that we probably use the most.
Yeah.
So if you have any other really cool plugins or things that you want to know about Sketch, don't hesitate to drop us a comment below.
Yeah.
And like I said, if you haven't gotten the intro to Sketch, go back and watch that video as well. But as always, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to our channel and put the bell on so that you get notified when we put out new videos. And what else? I think that's it.
No, you like, subscribe, bell.
See you guys.